I am New Mexico Secretary of State Maggie Toulouse Oliver, and I am inviting you to come with me today as I vote. I am an absentee ballot voter here in New Mexico. I choose to do that because I get to vote from the convenience of my home on my own time, and I am not voting on election day because I'm always working on election day, making sure our elections are running smoothly. And as I always say, election day is your last chance to vote. So if you can vote early or vote by absentee, that's always the best way to do it. Make sure you get that vote in on time because you never know what's going to happen on election day. So we're starting out today. First and foremost, I have my sample ballot that I printed out online from our New Mexico Voter Information Portal, which is nmvote.org. like New Mexico, nmvote.org. I put my information in the system, got a copy of my sample ballot and printed it out. I did have to adjust the sizing so I could get the entire ballot on one piece of just regular letter-sized paper. And then I took my time and I went through my ballot to make sure I was familiar with all of the races, all of the candidates, and all of the questions, and I marked them for myself. I do this every election. You don't have to, but it's a great way to make sure that you know in advance how you're planning to vote to make the process go more smoothly. So just yesterday I got my ballot in the mail. This is what it will look like. You'll have your county, and it will say on there that this is absent voting material. As you can see with this little tear accepted, my ballot is sealed. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my package, and we're going to look at everything that's in the package just so we have a sense of what to expect. We can throw this outside envelope away when we're done with voting. So the first thing, of course, that I'm seeing in my package is my ballot. And the first thing I'm going to do is just double check and make sure this should never be an issue, but I do have the right precinct, just double checking with my sample ballot, and so yes, I got the right ballot in the mail. The next thing is going to be the inner envelope, and we'll talk about what this is and why it's important when we go through the voting by mail process. There's also a set of instructions. So if you've never done this before, or if you have any questions about exactly what to do to cast your absentee ballot, this green page is going to give you all of the information about how, where, and when you can submit your absentee ballot. Lastly, we have the outer envelope, and this is going to be really important. This outer envelope is what we're going to put everything back into. We're going to fill out some critical information on the outer ballot, or on the outer envelope, and we're going to submit everything in here. So with that, I think I'm ready to go. I don't have to read these instructions because I know what they say, but again, I encourage you all to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and just start marking my ballot. So before I start marking my ballot, I'm going to make sure I have the right kind of pen. Ideally, it's a black pen of some kind. I'm going to use a small tipped Sharpie. You can use any kind of Sharpie your ballot will read, or a black, just regular ballpoint pen. Ideally, it's a black pen. You can also use blue if that's all you have. Just do not use a red pen or another colored pen, and do not use a pencil to mark your ballot. So I'm going to go through and start marking my choices. Okay, so I have completed marking my ballot. I'm going to fold it back exactly the way it was folded up when it came to me. I'm not going to fold it a different funky way. This will make sure that the ballot scanners, that's my cat in the background helping me vote, that the ballot scanners can read the ballot properly. So first thing is I'm going to take this inner envelope. Again, it's this one. It says absent voter ballot on the top. This little box, if you're just a voter here in New Mexico, actually no matter what, you don't need to worry about it. Don't worry about that box, that's for official use only. So this, all we have to do with this inner envelope is take off the sticky cover, stick your ballot in, don't put anything else in this inner envelope, nothing at all but your ballot, and go ahead and close it up. Then I'm going to take my outer ballot. Now this is where we need to make sure we're paying a little bit of attention. So again, there's some personal private information I need to put in here to make sure that my ballot gets qualified in order to be counted. So I'm going to go ahead and add my printed name, and this is my name is registered. Some of us, my full name is Margaret. That's my name on my driver's license. I'm registered as Maggie, so I'm going to make sure that I write my name as registered. I'm going to put my birth year, which is quite a few years ago at this point. Then it's asking me to put in my street. My street address, now this is where I'm registered to vote, not necessarily where I got my ballot. So if I was in another state or living temporarily somewhere else, I wouldn't put in that address. I'm going to put in my address as registered. Then my city and state, here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. My zip code. And then last but not least, I'm going to sign with my signature that I use for everything, right? Especially to vote. So what we want to make sure is we're filling out every single one of these fields at the bottom of the outer envelope before we do anything else. Each of these fields has a little red asterisk, making sure we don't miss anything, we don't leave anything out. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the inner envelope. Now, here's the thing about the inner envelope. We use this inner envelope to make sure the privacy of your ballot is protected. If I were to just put my ballot straight into this outer envelope, then any poll worker could know who I was and how I voted. So the reason we use this inner envelope is to keep your vote private. Because what's going to happen when my ballot gets back to the absentee precinct is that the first thing they're going to do is they're going to check my information to make sure it's all filled out and correct. Then they're going to separate those inner envelopes from those outer envelopes, and they're going to put the outer envelopes in an anonymized pile, put the inner envelopes with the ballots in them in a separate pile. And then the next step in the process is they're going to open the inner envelopes. So at that point, all of the ballots will be anonymized. Poll workers, nobody will know how you cast your own personal absentee ballot. So again, I'm going to go ahead, put my ballot in the inner envelope into the outer envelope with all of my information already filled out. And again, I'm going to peel off the sticky cover and go ahead and seal that. Now you will see my personal private information is private. It's only going to be open. There's a privacy flap here. It's perforated. The poll officials can pull this off so that they can check before they even open your ballot envelope to see whether or not this ballot qualifies. And again, that's how we protect the secrecy of the ballot, but also make sure we can qualify the ballot before it's counted. Now, the last thing is you may notice at the very top, there is something that says delivery person, printed name, signature, and relationship to the voter. Now, if I were going to give this ballot to a member of my immediate family or a caretaker to drop it off for me at a polling place or at a ballot drop box, I would fill that out. So let's say I was having my son, who is 25 years old, drop my ballot out for me. I would put his name, my signature, and his relationship to me in that, I would put his name, his signature, and his relationship to me, my son, right here as he dropped the ballot off. But because I'm going to be dropping it off myself, or because I'm going to be putting it in the mail myself, I don't have to worry about this line. So for most people, you don't have to worry about filling this out. You are ready to go to either put this in your mailbox or to drop it off at a polling location or any secured monitor drop box that accepts absentee ballots. I am here at the Santa Fe Rodeo Grounds to drop off my ballot. I'm on my way to the store, so this is just super convenient for me. The rodeo grounds is less than a mile from my house. So I parked. I'm going to walk up to the secured monitored container. I did a little bit about this during the primary election, but I'll just remind folks, these ballot boxes are tamper-proof. We have a numbered seal here, so we know every time someone from the clerk's office comes to retrieve the ballots, that the seal number is the last one that was put on here to make sure nobody's tampered with the ballots. If anybody were to, smack this or try to set it on fire, there's a sensor that goes off, and there's also a video camera up there on the side of the building that's taking a look at this 24/7 during the election process to make sure my ballot is secure. So all I have to do is, there's a little slot, just like your mailbox, slide it in,